So to wrap up this unit on fractions, I wanted to take some time for us to practice identifying fractions of positive and negative numbers on the number line. So we're going to get to do both. So today we're going to start with a negative integer, which just means number, and we're going to do negative 3 and 1/2. So negative 3 1/2 is going to represent this number line, and then we're also going to do a positive number on the bottom, which is going to be 1 2/3. So we need to show where these are going to be on our number lines. So the biggest thing to start with is you need to identify what is your whole number. Even if it's a negative, it still represents a whole number. So we're focusing on that. Now, one thing about the number line, specifically when you are working with negative integers, when you start, you're going to start at 0. And you're going to work this way. So your number is actually going to be working this way instead of working this way. So when you're doing positive integers, you're working to the right. When you're working with negative integers, you're working to the left. Okay, so you're working backwards almost. Kind of like when you're subtracting those fractions on the number line. So we're going to first identify the whole numbers. So we're going to start at 0. We need to find negative 3. So we go 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is negative 3. This is where it needs to be between. Now, since we're working this way, it's not going to be between negative 3 and negative 2. We're keeping going left. So we're going to be working between negative 3 and negative 4 because it's going to continue going this way. Okay, so since we have a denominator, right here's our denominator of 2, between each section, we need to make sure that there is 2 spots to show that that would be the whole number. So we have between 4 and 3, we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So they have the same denominator all the way throughout. So we can identify what that half is going to be on the number line. So since we said between negative 3 and negative 4 is where we need to be because we're working to the left, we need to identify where the 1/2 is going to lie. Well, between negative 3 and negative 4 is 1/2. So therefore, this would represent that 1/2. So negative 3 and 1/2 would land right here. So that's where we would put our dot right there, is to represent that negative 3 and 1/2. So now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it with a positive integer on the bottom number line. So now we have 1 2/3. So we are not working on the negative side, we're working on the positive side. So we're going to be working from left to right, going up. So we know our whole number is where we need to start. Our whole number is 1. So we need to look and find 1. 1 is right here. So we're going to be working between 1 and 2. So those are the whole numbers we're working between. Okay, before we identify where the 2/3 is, we need to make sure we break up the line. So 3 is our denominator, so we need to make sure between each section there's going to be 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. And just to demonstrate what each of these would be, we're going up by thirds. So starting at 0, this would be 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, or that 1 whole, okay? And you could keep going up. So we'll just do that to represent because we know we're working between 1 and 2. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, or 2 wholes. 1/3, 2/3, so on and so forth, but because we're not working between those numbers, we don't need to finish that out. So we know we're working between 1 and 2, that's our whole number, so we need to find 2/3 between that 1 and 2. So we're going to go from the 1 whole and we go up 1/3, 2/3. Well, that's where it lies. So 2/3 is where we would put that dot to represent 1 2/3. So that's what you're going to do with the negative numbers on that line, and you're going to do positive ones as well. So remember, the biggest thing is when you're working with negative numbers, you're working from the 0 right to left. And with your positive numbers, you're going to be working from the 0 left to right. Okay, you're going to be doing that on your worksheet today.